The Supreme Court is facing a major legitimacy crisis. We currently have 9 unelected people who have been given ultimate say over all of our rights and our freedoms. They have no oversight, no term limits, and nothing and no one to hold them accountable. 3 of the 9 were given lifetime appointments by a twice-impeached president who tried to overthrow the government and stole top-secret documents from the White House. 6 of the 9 are deeply tied to the far-right theocratic dark money Federalist Society, who has spent 40 years trying to undermine the rule of law for their own version of who matters under the law. These same 6 justices were all confirmed, claiming definitive respect for settled precedent, but are now ruling that established laws and rights can be overturned on a whim. This is the same majority who gets to decide what cases the court even takes up and how, and have expanded the shadow docket to take more cases that are decided away from public scrutiny with limited preparation and no oral arguments. Despite the fact that the Supreme Court is supposed to be removed from petty politics, these justices are out campaigning with right-wing politicians, taking speaking engagements at right-wing events, and indicating to right-wing groups which cases they would like to see come before them. Justice is supposed to be blind. The courts are supposed to rule on the merits of the case, not the opinion of the justice. And yet here we are, dangerously close to the majority will of 300 million people being overturned by the majority will of 9 people. Laws only work because we collectively agree to follow them. How long does that last if people lose faith in the institution upholding the law? It's no longer just calling balls and strikes if the umpire is in the bag for the other team. So what do we do? What do we do to uphold our faith in the justice system and the highest court in the land? We can't pass term limits because lifetime appointment is written into the Constitution. We can't impeach a justice without 2/3 of the Senate, which with this Senate is completely out of the question. The Supreme Court are their own police, so their ethics and recusals are entirely self-motivated, and 5 of the 6 have no motivation to change because they're doing exactly what they were put there to do. Which leaves us with court expansion, diluting the power of compromised justices by adding more people to the court. There is nothing in the Constitution that specifies the number of Supreme Court justices. In fact, we only have a 9-member court because 150 years ago, Congress matched the amount of Supreme Court justices to the amount of appellate court districts, which at the time was 9, but is now 13. So there is a precedent for matching districts to justice numbers, and President Biden and Congress would be well within their rights to expand the court to keep up with tradition. So Joe Biden could, theoretically, add 4 justices, which would balance the court and just happen to make it a 7-6 liberal majority. Yay! Problem solved! We win! But we don't win, because nobody wins if you stack the court. The Republicans have already done that, and we can see that all it's done is serve to delegitimize the entire judicial branch of the government. So here's what I propose. We expand the court to 27. Yeah, 27. The Supreme Court either becomes 2 courts of 13 or 3 courts of 9. The justices will pick their cases and fellow justices at random. They won't know which cases will be coming before them or who they'll be working with from case to case. Cases like the Dobbs case that overturned Roe won't come before them just because the litigants know ahead of time that they have the votes to win. If you bring a case to the Supreme Court, you don't know what the makeup of the court will be, and you don't know what justices you're going to get, which means the justices will be left to rule on the strength of the case, the quality of the argument, and the interpretation of the Constitution. 27 justices means justice could once again be blind. Presidential elections could go back to being about leadership and not which party you would rather get a Supreme Court pick. Justices could get sick. They could retire before they died because the laws in the country wouldn't come down to their one vote. 1 in 27 doesn't make that much of a difference. That many justices picking cases and colleagues at random means we could stop pouring gasoline onto the fire of partisanship, and we could have faith in the courts again, faith in the very institution that we need to uphold the fabric of our country, and our faith in the rule of law. Because right now everything is unraveling, and we have to do something to stop it before it's too late. 27. Think about it.